Would you believe it? It does look like ENCE have turned around their Mirage. They're in, giving OpTic a little bit of run for their money as we go into the second map. A little bit of cash, or cash, as my friend Birchill would call it, not to be confused with Spud.
I say cash.
Yeah,
I'm always going to say cash.
Kind of the same.
I apologize, but that's just where I'm from, and that's how we say it. But you know what someone should be apologizing for? They floated this, right? The desk talked about this map. They talked about what was going to be happening going into this. I was just doing a little bit of research here based on the last times the players from OpTic have played cash.
Okay.
Snappy. Last played it on the 4th of the 4th, 2018, against Na'Vi, a team who historically does not play this map. And
Wait,
lost.
April?
Yes.
April
in EPL Season 7, online, they lost 16-14. Yugi last played this map on the 4th of the 11th, which is the 4th of November, 2017, against VP and lost 16-7. You've got Config and Cajun, who both played this map. This is how ridiculous this is starting to get. On the 5th of July, 2017. So over a year ago was the last time they played this in an official. They lost 16-10 to SK. And then Nico played it on the 14th of July, 2018, and they lost that one as well. So none of these players, the last time they played this map, were able to grab a victory on it.
But maybe this is where we can see a little bit of that flashiness on the individual side, because they're going to have to do something weird here, right? If they're not comfortable in this map, they're going to have to find these individual performances to perhaps even power them through this ENCE lineup that has woken up. We didn't see a big, strong start there from Alexi B, but he definitely came online in the second half. And again, we're waiting to get live here on Cash, the second map of a semifinal here, the StarSeries Season 6. ENCE currently one map up in the best of 3 and could be walking away with it.
Maybe just to note from those stats that I was throwing out there, Config actually had a really big game. Obviously, it's over a year ago, so that's obviously take it with a grain of salt, but it probably plays to his play style a little bit more, right? We know this can be free-flowing. We know this is the kind of map where if he does find openings, he can get away with a lot. They need to see that because that's what we thought was going to happen in the first map as well, and that didn't happen at all. With ENCE, they played this map 3 times. They lost to a team 16-13, they beat a team 22-18, and they lost to Spirit 16-11. So they haven't played good teams on this map, and they have a pretty bad record on it. So both teams are very lackluster, at least from historical knowledge, going into this game.
Well, we're going into a knife round, Chad, and I ask you on the desk all the time, but in this case, if you don't play this map a lot, is there a stronger, perhaps, start you'd like to have on either side of this map?
Look, I think that because both teams apparently, according to our records, don't play this a lot, you might want to start on the T side because you can find those gaps. You can really punish the CT side. CT takes a lot of cohesion, right? On the CT side of this map, I always liked it when I was in-game leading to take gambles over towards bomb sites, to hedge bets, to take aggression towards a main, and try and win the round in those scenarios. Knife round will go in the favor of ENCE. That's both knife rounds going to them, so they'll get to decide which side they think is more proficient.
It does look like they're going to start on the CT side.
Yeah. So I think that obviously ENCE have played this map a lot more than OpTic, just because they do actually have history on it, at least recently, as a team. And they should just be infinitely more prepared than OpTic unless they've sleeper practiced this out of nowhere. So this one here, it's kind of like, boys, you know, we have nothing to lose. We don't really have a lot prepped on this map. The fact that we let it through was a gamble. We knew that we had a weaker map pool. We're just going to have to play our absolute best because they all know how to play Counter-Strike.
They all know. They have all played through the Rank S and FPLs. They have all pretty much put themselves and subjected themselves to having those sort of one-off approaches to within games. And I'm just going to forecast that we're probably going to be seeing quite a bit of individual plays here. In fact, maybe a Config can really come into his own on this map and probably take it by the horns, one might say.
Yeah, the reason that it's so difficult in this situation to give too much hard evidence is because hard evidence doesn't exist. We can't really say, oh, this is what the play style is going to be like, or this is the their pacing, this is where they hold on the CT sides. All that kind of stuff is relatively void.
You want to talk about hard evidence, Chad? How about we talk about hard evidence that the world is round and not flat?
I believe the world is round. It's not like round like a ball, but it is round.
But the question is,
curved.
Do you question
curved?
Do you question everything?
Oh,
or do you just believe by what you read all the time?
No, you need to. But that is such a silly conspiracy.
Oh, yeah, that one's kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, but
the point is, you question everything, question it all. You know?
Yeah, but not to the point of being absurd and thinking the world is flat.
I mean, not everyone needs to know that you think the world's flat. In fact, you might even keep that one to yourself. If you're in Twitch chat and you think the world's flat, let's go ahead and get some Kappa spams in there because we all know that's not true. Either way,
hey man, you don't want people tweeting at you.
No one's going to – what are they going to tweet, Chad?
I don't know, man. Some people tweet some really mean
the
things.
The world's flat, man. No, it's –
I hope that's what the guy sounds like when he tweets it too.
He might be, and that might be what you sound like. If you head over to loot.bet, use code SLTV, and then also hit Control-T, load up responsiblegambling.org, and make sure you give it a good read before you get too ahead of yourself.
There are hotlines you can call if you do have a gambling addiction.
Chad? Crowd now.
On their feet.
On their feet, ready for Cache. And it does look like the teams are ready up, rather.
Does it hurt to say it like that?
Cache?
Yeah.
It's like I'm saying quiche, right?
Yeah.
Which is like a food.
Yeah.
So it's starkly different for me. And because, you know, I'm American, so I say it right no matter what. So either way, we are getting into the pistol round now. OpTic and ENCE. ENCE on the verge of sending OpTic packing, at least back to the hotel in which they came from this morning. And ENCE trying to find their way into a grand final here would be a big statement on behalf of ENCE at an international land, of course. They have found successes at the likes, starting at Cologne, of course. And I've said, of course, probably 3 times, Chad.
We're going to smoke and flashbang in the hands of Snappy. He's dropped a P250 over towards Config, and 2 flashes and a kit in hands of Alexi B. Alexi is going to be actually towards that middle part of the map, and it will be a B hit that's most likely coming in. Just basic utility. I would assume a smoke towards City Spawn and the flashbang from Snappy, and away they go.
It's going to be a weird one. X7, the only line of defense here for ENCE as we get into this first pistol round, and OpTic are set up to go towards the B side. However, quite a bit of push here from Alu. He does have all of the information needed. He can call in that rotation. That's exactly what's going to be happening right around the time of the hit. X7 finds one. He's going to need to find another. He might have it. Nico, he does find that. Could he find a third? Not going to need it because Alexi B's there to play too. Cajun B finding one, trying to turn this one around. Can't do it. And X7 is on fire, keeping them alive in this round. 3 Ks in his name. Snappy, the impossible, can't get it done. Alu with the push there, ton of information gained, and as soon as he gets that sort of advantage, sort of that look into the A side of the map, he can just simply say, hey guys, it's time to get out of here. Let's go to B.
Yeah, that early information did help, but it kind of came at the same time. I think what was key here was obviously X7 hitting some absolute bangers of shots, but let's not forget, Alexi B was there to support with the flashbangs. Definitely giving enough time for X7 to reposition, re-peek, and pop those heads. Now, will be a Deagle upgrade coming in from OpTic. We do see 5 across the board. Nico's the only one who hasn't invested in any form of Kevlar.
But the 5 Deagles could bode well. We do know that these guys are some sharp shooters, and one man you want to be afraid of with the Deagle is Config. However, they're going to have to find a way to get these shots off in the first place, because right now, ENCE do have all of the utility, all of the weaponry, and all of the head armor needed. However, only 1 kit there on the hands of Ariel. And OpTic not sure what they want to do with this round. Haven't really gained too much map control. We do see Yugi pushed up in the door, so perhaps they can formulate some sort of A play here with the late guy coming out the door. But as it stands, Config edging his way towards B. Going to probably run into the likes of Sergey if he keeps pushing up. Sergey pushed up in those vents. But right now, OpTic trying to find anything to get this round going in their favor. Config takes the first peek. Sergey going to take down the first scalp of Nico. Config finding a trade, now in a 4v4. Config finds a second with a picked up rifle.
Oh
Snappy, now. Hold your horses, because Ariel, the only one left alive here, ump in hands, 3 versus 1, and he can't do jack squat there, Chad. And OpTic pick up a first round.
Okay, so that round right there, you're wondering what's the plan from OpTic. The plan is basically just to do a default spread with the Deagles and see if they can find any long-range duels. Allow a player to make a play, and that's exactly what happened. Config able to find 2 massive kills, force the rotation, Snappy in the right place, the right time. Gets 2 of his own. Similar scenes to what we saw on the first map of Mirage. Right now, it's really just going to rattle ENCE as they have gone for a pistol upgrade of their own. Let's see if they can bite back with any more tenacity than what they just were offered.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be a little of a ball buster, one might even call it. ENCE winning the first round, losing the second, and now the money is in favor of OpTic. They've picked up 2 AKs, they've got a MAC-10, they've got a FAMAS. Tons of utility, all the head armor in the world you could possibly want. And Alu with the head armor and a P250. So it's going to be a full-on pistol purchase here, at least for the side of ENCE.
Yeah, the reason that's strange is because Alu is going to be the primary AWPer on a map like this, and for him to invest down to $150 means that AWP will not be getting online early unless someone will be able to drop it his way. Once again, just posturing here. We do see similar scenes. You pointed this out during that first map, that ENCE like to do stacks onto bomb sites with their anti-ecos, or at least their anti-eco kind of pistol upgrade rounds here.
And they're probably wheeling on the back of that round where they could just get walked in on and B. And in fact, that round could have went a totally different way. Should have not found 3 frags. So they're going to have 4 of there towards B. And for what OpTic is planning to do, looks like a little bit of mid-control config, starting the round off for OpTic strong. Sergey responding, saying config, go wait in the lobby, bud. It's going to be a Deagle headshot, bringing us back down to a 4 versus 4. Sergey trying to hold off this attack just a little bit longer. Alu going to get in the game as well. So now the numbers are dwindling on the side of OpTic. 3 guns remaining alive over there, all AKs, but they don't have a footing in any of these sites just yet. Nico and Sergey is trying to fight it off, and Sergey with a fantastic shot onto Alu. Not really what you want to do.
Oh, we've seen 2 of those in very close rounds, but this one should be done and dusted right now as Yugi has to find all 3 kills. Almost gets the spray transfer there. We'll take down Ariel, but Alexi will finish him off, and that one did get dicey. Look, that situation, as soon as that bomb was dropped and all the 3 players were towards middle, it's harder for them to go around and grab that one. They need to take a quick little technical pause, it looks like, so we should have something sorted quickly, but back and forth we go. I think we're going to see a lot of that in a game like this unless the economy can be established. These teams, because they don't have a lot of strategy, they don't have a lot of experience playing on a map like this one, will be opting just to make it a straight-out brawl, allow their players to go for individual plays, as it will. As we can see Alu on the screen, that must be where the technical issue is, probably just fixing what normally seems to be the case is TeamSpeak issues.
Yeah, there's a high likelihood he is just fixing TeamSpeak, so it's nothing major to stop them at least.
Looks good now. He's smiling. That's always a good sign.
That's a weird sign, actually, Chad. That's kind of an anomaly.
The Finns don't really... no, not 2 smiles.
Not 2 smiles, but Alu smiling. That's the anomaly.
I don't know why people look so sad when they play Counter-Strike. It's a fun game.
Chad, have you ever played matchmaking? I just want to throw that one out there, bud. There are reasons to turn that smile upside down.
There's reasons I don't play matchmaking. They're probably the same ones that make people cry.
Yeah, Chad, you know, I've subjected myself to thousands of matchmaking, countless hours.
We're about to get back into this one as the timer now ticks down, and what's interesting is will be another force buy, and like I mentioned, I do expect to see this a lot. AK will be in the hands of Config here and Deagles again, and the reason I think we're going to see so many, Deagles in this is because of the ranges at which you can take fights. Heads up play towards B right now as Config leading the charge. They want to take a duel, they want to take a battle, they want to, if they can find a free kill, but smoke will come down, and that means that they're going to have 20 seconds to wait until they can get anything done. So now they just need to pivot and make sure there's no pushes across the map.
Yes, sir. OpTic have elected to go with the 4 Deagles and Config having an AK himself. They do have 2 smokes. So where they utilize those will be very crucial, and they're going to have to capitalize on those smokes landing should they do just that. Money's low. It's a big round. Config finding an open kill there, so this could go well for OpTic, who now have to face an X7 should they elect to commit to this B site. Alexi B, though, is about to be set up for some success here. They do know that he is now pushed all the way up. Can't seem to capitalize on that push in the mid warehouse. And now the numbers are sternly in favor of OpTic, 5v3. And OpTic know they can just play this slow. They know that even with a minute left on the clock, they can literally just dwindle down this defensive ENCE, who do have the guns, but as it stands, not able to hold on to much. We do have a highway player in Alu, who's going to be finding just a little bit of contact here any minute as we do see a boost up. Config getting the smoke off there towards Z connector, and now we're going to be seeing an A play from the likes of OpTic.
Yeah, all OpTic need to do is go into a bomb site as a unit and trade efficiently, right? They have the number advantage. They just need to make sure as soon as Ariel gets a kill, as soon as his position is found, that they trade instantly on him. That smoke slowed things down a little bit, but 20 seconds is more than enough as the smoke of their own comes out, and now the attack is on. All the pressure on Ariel. He's standing at the bomb site. The flash will help as 1 kill comes in. Going to find the second, but the bullets in the M4 land with the third, and Ariel continues to dominate just like the first map. Alu only has to find a 15 HP Config left, and that was huge from Ariel, who continues that statement he had on Mirage. That is a fantastic round to be able to stifle in a position where OpTic did all they needed to do to find those opening kills.
Yeah, Ariel taking 4 scalps thus far and having a humongous impact in that round at least. That could have very well went in the way of OpTic, but that's just not how it came down.
Yep.
And we do see a money travesty on the side of OpTic. Full-on save here. We got 5 Glocks. That's right. Get your Glock spams in because you know that's what's coming. The Glock train, 1 P250 Config. Not a better man to hold it.
They were waiting for They were waiting for nades on the boost, and now they're going to do it late. This is one of the classic strats. It's a bit of a waterfall over the boost that we see coming up. Probably allow all the members to get on up, and then over they'll go. It's going to put a lot of pressure on the mid player here, but without the head armor, without any real guns to speak of, should be a nice little mop up.
Yeah, Alu set up with the M4 now on highway. So he has that information. He hears them all. He's going to get the spray down. 1, 2, 3. Goes for the 4th. Grabs it as well. Pulls out the USP and aces him here on what was actually a save round for OpTic, but you love an ace nonetheless. Isn't that right, Chad?
Everyone loves an eco ace, mate. They're the ones that pad the stats. They give the confidence, and
that's what makes the highlight movies.
Yeah, a lot of money in the back pocket for Ali now. He's buffered up all the way to 8K, but this will be the first gun round we will be seeing in this game. Cajun's actually opted to go for the UMP, which tells me that maybe we'll see a set piece coming out here where they are going to be relatively aggressive. They're going to close down those distances because at a range, UMP is not so deadly. Mid-control smokes come out. One of them's going to miss. That is not ideal. Molotovs will mitigate the boost. And here, I love this rotation from ENCE now, putting so many numbers towards middle here to stop this push. Maybe the delay will force the re-rotation, but Utility continuously exchange back and forth. As OpTic have taken no ground. ENCE have been able to hold them off just with Utility alone, and now the boost will come back over. Now the jewels are going to come in.
Yeah, and OpTic trying to use this boost to their advantage, but have yet to find superior success. And they're about to catch a grenade right to the dome piece. Tons of grenade damage done down onto OpTic ENCE. Even though this is a full-on gun round, so to say, we do have some SMGs in the mix. They have found themselves out middle. Still 5 alive on each side. ENCE turtling up in these bomb sites. Actually going to push A main a little bit now, grabbing as much information as they can. It's going to be Alexi B. He's not going to tempt fate too much, but he does need to get this information. They do know that they're out middle. And the more info that he can give his team, the more prepared they can be for perhaps this transition to B. Howard does look at OpTic. You know what? They're just going to turn around. Turn this one right back around, in fact, Chad. They're going to be going to that A lockers. Alexi B pushed up in the smoke, and he's going to have to bail out here in a second.
These are the things that are missing, though. The mid-round decision-making, right? They took so much damage. They didn't push any of the Molotovs. They just took the damage. They just had to sit back. And now that they've been smoked off and delayed, the late round call comes in, and they're just going to push straight through A main. A lot of damage will be done, but the boost from Aerial is going to be pivotal as he peers down. 2 massive kills, continuing the multi-frags from above as Aerial will eventually be traded from Snappy from Highway, but Alexi B in position gets a kill, and now Cajun, last man standing, all work to do. Nothing will be done. And ENCE with some fantastic pivotal rotation there on the CT side. I love that. When they knew that those mid smokes were coming in, when they knew it was going to be that take, that classic mid take with the highway smoke, the connector smoke, they rotated all their forces over. They said, if you guys want to fight, we're going to do this right here, right now. Stifled them with all that utility use, did so much damage pretty much unknowingly, and at that point, went and took another piece of real estate over towards A main. And like you were mentioning, this map is all about that real estate, all about that map information. Fantastically played. And Aerial continues to frag up a storm. This one could be quick, Trace.
It could be very quick. 5-1 is the scoreline. OpTic, not where they want to be right now. In fact, even monetarily speaking, they have elected to put a scout in the hands of Snappy and Deagles with everybody else. So it's going to be their work cut out for them. As ENCE do have 5 rifles and a dream, Chad, and a dream.
Everyone has a dream. What's your dream?
I haven't really thought about that in a while.
My dream's to own that island and never deal with another human being ever again.
Okay. So like Gulliver's Island, or what kind of island are we talking about here?
Maybe like with Tom Hanks, but I'll have sea containers. I'll turn into houses.
I mean, you do look like the type to talk to a volleyball. I'll give you that.
I'll do a basketball.
2 members of OpTic have fallen. Snappy and Yugi make that 3 with Nico joining them. KIA list. Cajun B, absolutely nothing can be done there. And ENCE go up to 6 rounds to OpTic's 1. But now we're going to see some weaponry come out on the side of OpTic, and that, my friend, could be where things change, or hopefully they change around.
Well, they went for the mid-control, right? They got stifled by utility usage. They couldn't get over the boost, the Molotovs, the nades, the smokes, the flashes. Everything was in their face. They couldn't do anything at all. And they just went back for a late A main play. They don't have the mid-round decision-making. They don't have the contingencies in place, sorry. They don't have all that theory work done on this map. See, that smoke misses again. This is basic Counter-Strike, not happening. They want this mid-control. This time a smoke will come over, but it's not done in the perfect way possible.
OpTic have garnered that mid-control at this point. They do know that there are no foes out here. And they're just going to wait. The waiting game is on. They haven't really taken too much towards the likes of B or A. And ENCE aren't going to give them any room to run either. 10 alive in the server still. Great boost there on the side of B. Sergey's able to find the head of config through the window. Very underrated boost. Defense have been popped. ENCE have 3 players over there towards that B bomb site. And just a lonely Aerial. 1 man alone on the A site. He's going to be the last to rotate as this seeming B hit comes on. Yugi finds one in Alexi B. And Sergey's going to be able to take down Yugi in trade. Now one man that needs to get in the game, Nico, can't get it in this round.
It's just an aim map.
Just eating them alive.
It's just an aim map.
This B site. And the rounds are starting to stack up. If you're OpTic, you want to find some rounds here on your T side. Otherwise, you might as well just sit down and take it over on your CT.
Here's the thing, right? If they're not going to be able to find an opening kill and have a free chance to go for a 4-on-5 situation, well, they had a 3-on-5 earlier. They still couldn't convert that. Then it needs to be fast-paced. But they're getting mid-control. They shouldn't have been gifted at that time. That smoke missed again. The thing is, they know that their back's up against the wall. They know this isn't a map they play. And in the rounds that they've looked remotely competitive, that's been on config, finding not one, but a follow-up entry kill here. And that's the only way that pressure has even been applied to ENCE. Otherwise, they've been playing this picture perfect. And they have to be in a very happy position right now.
And as slow as this is, Chad, let's go ahead and get not a B-stream update, but just a news feed update, rather.
A news feed update.
Zontair's announcing departure from Space Holders.
Yeah, I did see that. That's been in the works for some time, I think. I think it's good that they had a respectful message when leaving, even though it wasn't the apparently the nicest of scenarios to be in, I suppose.
It's always weird when someone leaves a team.
No, the whole team's leaving.
Yeah, but it's always weird.
Oh.
Everything's always weird, Chad, especially with you. And especially with OpTic right now, who have one round on the board here in the second map of the semifinal, one where in which they could be eliminated, sent home, and ENCE onward to the grand finals tomorrow, best of 5. It'll be a much different playing field than this, but they've got to get through Cash first. And right now, they are in the driver's seat to do just that. OpTic spread out in a pretty standard default here. Trying to catch an ENCE getting aggressive, or maybe feeling themselves now that the scoreline is starting to run up. Perhaps they can punish ENCE on that, but that's just not the style that ENCE likes to play. This is a very well drilled team, so it says. Very disciplined.
Yeah, and I love the fact that Alexi, as the in-game leader, is the guy happy to take the risks, happy to get up close and personal. Well, knows what needs to be done.
When you're the puppet master, you pull all the strings, Chad.
Yeah, that's one of the key things about being a fragging in-game leader like he is. But speaking of frags, Nico pivots out. A-main, as it is a basic hit, will open up the bomb site, but X7 through the smoke will find one, and now the blender for ENCE continues to absolutely get the most they can out of this green wall.
That's absolutely right. The blender, not to be confused with the blunder, which was this A-site take from OpTic. Alu and company able to shut them down. Nico on the board now, grabbing his first kill in that round, but still not enough. 8-1 in favor of ENCE, and this is slowly but surely becoming a landslide, Chad.
What I actually want to see from ENCE here is the ability to close a game in a very aggressive manner. Make sure that they keep the foot on the throat, right? We have seen games where they've been in leads, especially like yesterday on Overpass, where it's come back. I don't think this game is going to be similar. I really struggle to see how OpTic can find a solution to get back into this one. Massive blunders would have to come out on the side of ENCE. They'd pretty much have to put down their mouse and keyboard. But I want to see, for ENCE's sake, I want to see that these guys just can get it done in a concise manner. At that minor was a couple of scenarios where, you know, comebacks were a bit of a problem for them.
We do have a pistol situation, some might even call it. I don't think anyone's ever called it that in their lives. But yes, 5 pistols over here on the side of OpTic. Anything that they can get going now will help immensely. And as it stands, they're walking out onto this B site. They're going to be facing a Sergey and X7. They're danger close there. Nico making the rounds, getting a second frag on the board. X7 finding one on Nico. Alu also chiming in to Yugi. Finding 2-3 before he's taken out by Snappy. Now 1v2. Snappy needs to get the bomb planted for the very least some money. But they're going to know that this money's hurt. And I would not be surprised to see ENCE storm in and take this one over. Snappy has found this AK. Might not be enough. He has an entire minute to play with, Chad.
Look at how well these guys play together. They just play off each other, shoulder to shoulder, making sure no matter as soon as they grab contact, they can trade. That Molotov was a great opportunity to delay the plan, and it's forced Snappy out of the sight. Now he has to find 2 kills. He's going to pivot on CT and instantly bullets to the brain. Away he goes. That round got interesting, but if you noted, as they executed onto that B side, 3 members of ENCE were already there.
Shoulder to shoulder, Shona Pashona, if you're Pashtun, Chad.
Where's that?
It's what is Pashtun?
Yeah.
It's a tribal part of Afghanistan and Pakistan. But yeah, Shona Pashona would be.
Look at Alu.
Would be shoulder to shoulder. Brothers in arms is exactly what's going on. This is rough for OpTic Gaming. They do have 5 rifles this round. And as it stands, they're going to need a lot more than that to find a second round on the board. They're going to be going up for that boost again. Nico there. Finding a third frag for Nico.
Are they missing that smoke intentionally? That's 3 times they've tried to do the classic mid control and the smoke hasn't landed once. If they want to leave the player there so they can, you know, push on out and actually try and kill him like they've just done, that's some next level.
Maybe. Maybe that could be the case, but it's not exceedingly working out for them yet, is it, Chad? Do have the first fallen comrade here. It's going to be Alu and Ariel. He's going to be joining Alu. Now 5 versus 3. Alexi B, X7, Sergey. These guys could definitely get it done. They've proven that time and time again. There's going to be a nice little trade there. 4 versus 2 now. X7, Sergey left to try to retake what will be, I believe, the first plant from OpTic, in fact. It's been a rough ride here on their T side, but this one well could go in their favor.
The call should be, Trace, right now, just for Sergey and X7, is just to find kills. They don't need to win the round.
Punish the money.
Exactly. Just make sure that you can keep that money as low as humanly possible. So you take that next gun round, take it back in the bin.
Or in a wide world where these guys somehow don't do that. Okay, so Snappy finds Sergey, and this one's all but done. Yugi's going to clean him up. And a second round finally on the board for OpTic. Late into this first half, not going their way just far. Or just yet, I should say, going into the 12th round.
That's kind of the key to that mid-control, right? If you can't get mid-control for free, you need to make sure that you're getting the opening kill. And Alu, because he's having such a fantastic game, was more than happy to stay aggressive. Did find the opening kill there for OpTic. So that's the positive signs. In the rounds that have been competitive, they've been able to find those opening jewels off the back of config, most notably, but that time round, I think the hero would have been Nico.
And Chad, you got to ask yourself, right? You call this pause, and, well, what can OpTic say in this moment?
Mate, they just need to get, I think their huddle was basically, look, this isn't a map we play, we just need to go out and give it our all, right?
Look at that,
There's
Chad.
not much of a game plan. Yeah,
Alu sitting on 20 frags, my goodness, it's absolutely disgusting, Chad. Absolutely massive.
Who do you want to, you can do someone I was going to say, I'm thinking of the wrong word.
Emulate?
It's not even the word I wanted. Doesn't really matter. The mid-control smokes again. They're going to come out. This time, Alu's not going to overstay his welcome. Oh, config will go down. Trying to get a little bit cheeky through that B smoke, that does seem. Now, posturing to go up highway, potentially into an A split here. Maybe having second thoughts is over towards B. Another kill will come in. Sergey onto Nico, and like flies,
they start to drop, hitting them with that swatter with the electric juice on it, too. It's not even like your normal fly swatter, Chad. It's the one where you press the button and you fry them as they're flying, which is exactly what's going on here. Cajun B and Snappy have an impossible task in a 2 versus 5. They're going to have to get out on this B bomb site and get it planted, but they're going to have some resistance here in these young guns. And they've been smelled out already. The call is going to be coming in. Molotov's going to keep Snappy in the back of that bomb site, splitting up Cajun B. And the way that they're just holding out, the way that they're hoping that ENCE is going to mess up and give them an inch. It's never going to happen at this rate. ENCE doesn't give an inch.
Oh, boy.
They take a mile. And Sergey finds a kill onto Snappy. Cajun B gets walled by Alu. Mark him up, chalk him up, tag him and bag him. Alu sitting at 21 frags, 4 deaths. We go forward here into the late stages of the first half.
They just need to buy at this point. If I was Snappy, I'd just say, listen, boys, we're only 2 rounds in. 12 on the board at the moment, and we need to make sure that we can at least get some form of respectable rounds to work with. So you need to be buying, right? You need to be trying something. And the only things that have really worked are based off fast-paced rounds. They have enough utility once again to go for that mid-control if they do want to.
Chad, I got a saying. It's only the best, but anything will do. And if you're OpTic at this point, anything will do. Doesn't have to be the best, but you have to get some momentum here. You have to get something going. Otherwise, like I said, your second half is going to be an entirely uphill battle. 10-2 right now in favor of ENCE. And OpTic edging towards that A site.
Oh, they're boosting over mid as well. So the quick flank's going to come in from Alexi V. He's getting boosted up. Even if they want to hit this side, as Ariel is going to take a jewel, he will drop.
There we go.
The boost didn't come in as I was expecting. Snappy taking full advantage of that one. And now they do have a 3-on-5 situation. The bomb site is theirs as X7 wants to get up close and personal, potentially deny this plan.
They're absolutely going to go for this, though. X7 trying to get a little leeway there. Can't find any configs. Going to go ahead and take him out of the round, leaving both Sergey and Alu. And Alu is on fire at this point with this AWP. Perhaps he can keep it going. He spots him there on top of the forklift. Rather impossible shot to hit, but he does find one on Yugi there at the door. Snappy with the flank. Almost gets taken out there. And Alu can't stay alive. OpTic had found a third round.
What did I say about 4 or 5 rounds ago that I wanted from ENCE?
Chad, you know what?
You forgot? I do say a lot of things.
I mean, sometimes you just get lost in that
Yeah,
sort of...
well, I said I wanted them to make sure that they kept the foot on the throat, kept
yeah,
the pressure on here, and take this game as convincingly as possible. It's not dire straits just yet, but if this half ends up being 10-5, I would consider that a massive blunder from ENCE. They're in the control of the economy, or at least they were, and they had a real chance here to lock this half out and make a statement against OpTic and on this map, which could be pivotal going forward when you know NRG and Vega Squadron are waiting. This is really good from OpTic, though. The fact that they are just going for plays as a team and trading out using basic fundamental CS, couple smokes, couple flashes, the real basics, trying to make the most of their aim.
Well, you kind of have to at this point, right? Nothing you've done up to this point has really worked too well. In fact, that third round was just the past round we saw. And now it started to unravel yet again. Alexi B taking down Config. Nico's going to have something to say about that. Tons of damage on them as they try to cross into that B site, and trades are coming in. It's now 4 versus 3. KGB snapping Yugi, trying to get in here and trying to get this bomb planted. And KGB is going to pick up the bomb. Should be an easy plant. Ariel finding the frag on a Snappy through the wall. Might find another one should Yugi get a little fishy, or frisky, I should say. Bomb has been planted. Now KGB and Yugi have a tall order ahead of them. They're going to have to thwart this retake. It's going to be impossible. Tries to get the wall bang in. Sergey gets the better of Yugi. And now Cajun B left to defend. He finds one, standing in the Molotov, dying ever so slowly. Sergey ends the round in a convincing fashion. 3 members stay alive there on the side of ENCE. And another round on the board.
I just need to continue to point this out, just how fantastically I think that ENCE play these situations. They're happy to give you the plant. They had so much utility, and then they play the retake as a team, right? They're not trying to make plays. If you want to get that bomb site under your control, that's fine. They know they have a lot of utility. They're more than happy just to use it when they're coming in the late stages. In this situation, it was a 4-on-2. They had definitely all the right pieces of the puzzle to make this one work. There's that spam kill that we didn't see go down from the first-person POV. But at that point, all the pressure on Cajun, does the best he can dancing in the flames. He will fall, and this is the last round of the first half here, as an AWP is able to be picked up for Cajun, not in the hands of Yugi, surprisingly. And they've opted to go back for this default spread. One over towards A main, one towards middle, one towards B. And Nico looks like he's back in spawn. I don't know what he's doing over there.
Just hanging out.
Hanging out?
Maybe
might throw a flash over mid.
Maybe having a granola bar. Just something to take the edge off here.
He does have the flash in hand, so he'll probably throw a flash over mid here, and they might try and sneak a pick for Cajun. There it comes. I think it actually flashed Cajun in that scenario, but this
is all part of the strat, Chad.
Well, this aggression from Aloe is huge. I don't think they're going to be expecting this so late. He's going to get a chance to find a kill here onto Nico. This one should be a freebie. Hello, and now goodbye. Finds the kill, plays it perfectly, pivots back, gives no chance for him to be picked. Now 5-on-4.
Right away from that frag, you got to think OpTic's just, oh man, what you're playing a little more conservative at that point. You're getting scared. Because when you got a guy like Alu who's boistering 23 frags in the first half and he gets comfortable enough to start taking these pushes by himself without any support, that's a world of trouble. He's comfortable and he's able to run away with it. And right now we're going to see OpTic try to work their way up to highway. Alexi B's waiting on the smoke, so this could all go wrong for them. Cajun B there at the sandbag, so it should be a pretty quick trade regardless. But this, ladies and gentlemen, is oh my God, what just happened on the other side of the map? Alu, a double kill with the AWP. Alexi B finds one in the Cajun. Mop it up, chalk him up, get him out of here, Chad. 12-3 first half, favor of ENCE.
Yeah, we didn't even see how that last round really unfolded. Some fantastic play from Alu there, but should be a quick second half, which we will be able to get after the break. That's right. We're going to be going to a quick break. When we come back, we're jumping into the second half of what could be the end of OpTic's run here at the Star Series Season 6.
And we are back. 12-3 is your scoreline. ENCE currently stomping all over the ones that should have the vision here, should have the veterancy, should have everything needed, but this map is not going their way, Chad.
Yeah, I think we definitely need to note a fantastic performance from Alu here, sitting on 25 frags. The next closest on his team is Alexi B and Ariel, both on 10 each. But Ariel's impact early, when it was still shaky with the economy, is probably really important and shouldn't be understated. He had 2 big multi-kill rounds in the early stages of that first half.
Especially in the B site.
Exact. No, both were towards A, weren't they?
I thought we saw one towards B.
No. Well, I know he was definitely on the boost for one of those rounds over towards A. So Ariel, being a big boy, getting a lot done.
Get it done, they say, Chad. Do something strange for a little piece of change, they say, Chad.
Who said that to you?
Don't worry about it, man. Some weird Alabama logic. Either way, it's time to kick off a pistol round here in what could be spelling the end of OpTic Gaming at StarSeries.
Let's just say, I think if ENCE grabbed this pistol round, it's probably done and dusted, as the Brits would say.
Done and dust-moretted.
Smoke and Molotov for X7. Alexi B is yet to purchase just yet, so, oh, there we go. He's going to grab himself 2 flashes and a smoke, and on the other side of things, once again, this is the same as Mirage. All the members of OpTic will be going on the Kevlar, which means they want to take those heads-up duels. They're not playing retake. They don't want to allow the bomb to go down. Looks like aggression over towards A main early from OpTic.
And ENCE playing this one slow as they should. They have all the rounds to run with here. They have absolutely no reason to get weird with it. Whereas if you're OpTic, you definitely have to start doing something a little bit different and hopefully bring it together here on your CT side. Alexi B making the first little bit of contact, bringing Snappy down to 2 HP. He's going to spot out 2 of those members of OpTic in the A main side of the map.
Snappy's very lucky to be alive in this situation. The fact that they went and played for such aggressive information when they know that ENCE have, they play their pistol rounds quite calculated, but they are that team who opts to get the information before they rush into things. Now they know that that gush has come in and Snappy has to be low on HP. We'll posture and see if they can take these close range duels with the Glock over towards A main, and then I assume the utility will come out onto the site. No information can be gathered for OpTic.
And OpTic definitely still set up in this sort of net defense across the map. We do see them spread pretty evenly across the board, but the A hit is imminent, and they're going to have a time to work with here. Alu set up for the door. Door has opened, so now they do have that little bit of an indication. The crossfire of Snappy and Cajun. Cajun B's going to cross back into the site towards that default area. Utility been used, and 1 kill for Snappy. Can he find 2? No. He was low already, and Sergey's going to finish him off. Cajun B playing around in the site. Config going to fall 2 and probably try to just go for this retake. Cajun finding 1. Could be a big kill. They do need to get this bomb down, though. The fight is on ever so manically. It's going to be Alexi B, Sergey, and Alu to try to reel this one back in their control. Sergey's going to peek that smoke wider of an angle. He does spot them there. He has all the information now. He knows where they're coming from, and Nico's going to hard charge him. And that's going to put OpTic in a pretty good position for this retake. And they have done it. So, OpTic Gaming netting a pistol round, also putting a 4th round on the board in what could be a long road for them on the way back.
Yeah, I really like that. When they knew that the bomb was getting planted, they isolated the forklift player, knowing in this situation the other player is most likely covering the bomb planter. Get that free kill and then give yourself a very advantageous retake. Forklift is hugely pivotal when you want to retake the bomb site, or even when you're taking it. That's one of the key parts of the real estate. You want that, and quad box is really the best kind of positions for a crossfire that you can set up. They noted that. They played as a team. They made the kills. And I like this from ENCE. I was going to put the question out there. ENCE have 2 options. They can force buy off the back of that plant and try and finish this game, topple OpTic's economy, not allow them to build into this, or they can take an eco, give themselves the weaponry, and then play that color by numbers recipe of Counter-Strike that they're so good at. They are opting to go for that approach, which means next round we will see the AK-47s come up, and OpTic must know that's the case because they've picked up 3 M4s of their own. MP5 in the hands of Snappy, which we're seeing more and more of. And the MP9 on Yugi.
Classic cricket strat there, Chad. Just keep clicking the Glock and then rush a bomb site.
I didn't know that was a strategy.
It is now.
That's not anything I ever really did. I think the only danger right now for OpTic is the fact that Config and Cajun with these M4 upgrades don't have head armor. Which even these Glocks can be deadly at that range. So if those weapons get dropped and they don't get scavenged by Snappy and Yugi, that's going to really hurt the OpTic economy going into the first gun round. Oh, hello.
Already quite a bit of damage put on to the likes of Snappy. Cajun B having to fight off the entire element within the vents. Nico's going to try to mop up, take a little bit of damage control, and luckily...
They're not going to get that other M4.
Just luckily, Chad, that one doesn't snowball out of control, especially with those Glocks. You're talking about not having head armor. This is definitely a position where these teams, or at least the T side, could swarm a player and pretty much eliminate him from around and start to run away with that momentum early on.
Yeah, you wouldn't be expecting that gift if you were, and so that's a really big kill to make. I think Snappy's going to pick up that MP9 that was dropped by Yugi here. Yes, he will. And Cajun will be dropped an M4. So they're able to get up a very decent buy with the AWP on Yugi. So they want to play aggressive middle. Bit of a standard approach. Ooh, Alu did spot the member dropping across, and Yugi now with a lot of pressure on him. Off in hand. He's going to get absolutely slammed by Sergey, whose aim has just been absolutely on point. And 2 in the vent. They can pivot in at any moment. Is it just a B hit as ENCE have continued the pace, continued the frags as Sergey finds a second, and Snappy, he's going to get 2 of his own. This one gets interesting now.
Yes, that's exactly right. ENCE left with 3 members alive. It was a very back-and-forth battle there. Nico coming through the smoke, finding one on Aerial. So now Config versus Alu and Alexi B. The bomb in the hands of Alu. Config's able to take him down, but Alexi B is able to save the round there for OpTic. Excuse me, for ENCE, I should say, as he doesn't play for OpTic. So,
like moths to a flame, that's one of the hardest things to do with when a team is just so aggressive, right? ENCE didn't have a chance to breathe. They just continued to attack. OpTic continued to push, continued to play at them, and I think these odds maybe flipped around the other way if I was a betting man, Trace.
A little strange there. Good thing we don't bet. We're guessing men. That's exactly what we do. A little bit of a tactical pause coming out on the side of OpTic. They got to restructure this. They've got to think about how they want to hold off this hit from ENCE no matter where it is.
Yeah, this is almost like last chance.
Yeah, and the money is not pretty for that, is it?
Yeah, if they take the eco, they're going to give 14 rounds on the board for ENCE, and you're basically playing backs against the wall for the rest of the game. We got 1,700 on Nico and 1,500 on Yugi. So you think about that, even when we do get into next round, their buy isn't going to be fantastic. And they've opted to take this economic fight to ENCE here by upgrading in Deagle, 5-7, UMP, FAMUS, and a Scout. Menagerie of a buy.
We did see Bjergsen set in there on the side of ENCE, ready to finish this one out and finish strong. They said, you know what, guys, I want to go out for dinner tonight. Let's make it quick here.
Beef's a good restaurant.
Beef is a very good steak place.
That's what I'd be going.
That's, yeah, I really like that myself. Either way, guns now in the hands of Sergey, Alu, and Aerial. Alu on a tear thus far. 27 frags as we go into what is the 19th round of play.
Hold up a second, Trace.
Yeah?
Why doesn't Alexi have a gun?
Because he doesn't need one, Chad.
That's the answer.
That's the answer.
Damn.
I mean, okay.
I think he forgot to buy. I think he may have dropped a gun and forgot to buy. We don't get to see all the POVs, but
he does have the head armor. He does have the nades.
Yeah.
He definitely has money for an AK,
As you're calling a strat as an in-game leader, this does happen. It has happened.
Does it happen to you?
I'm going to say no. I'd be lying.
Yeah, of course. Sounds about like you, Chad. Anyway, let's move away from your faults and things that you've done wrong in your life and start to focus on what now is a little bit of mid-control from the side of ENCE. They have gone over the boost. And Smoke's out there. Config going to be that highway player. He's not going to be alone. Nico's going to be there to support him. Have smoked off mid-warehouse, and Alu's going to find the first frag on a Nico. Open it up just a little bit more. The tear, which is OpTic Gaming. Need to put a Band-Aid on it because right now the bleeding has started. X7 has found the MAC-10 kill onto Config. Now 3 members left alive on the side of OpTic. Not optimal weaponry. They do have 2 instances of head armor with no kit, and Cajun B is poised to get one. Mike can grab a second on this highway guy. He does just that. He's going to go for a third maybe on the Alexi B. The pinch is on there at the top of the highway. ENCE getting stopped in their tracks as they work their way up. Cajun B has saved this round and turned it around in favor of OpTic, one that surely looked disasterful. And ENCE have fallen there on that round, giving OpTic a 6th.
This is where the veterancy of Cajun really stands up. He didn't look like he was under pressure at all then, but he was getting swamped from both sides. Timing of ENCE was a little bit off, and the call came in relatively haphazardly. They didn't necessarily need to push in that manner.
Chad, when I say Cajun, you say?
B.
Cajun?
B.
Cajun?
B.
Nice.
But right now, ENCE have opted to go for the force by themselves. AK in Alexi's hands, who obviously didn't buy one last round. Deagle for X7 and Sergey. Hello with the P250. And Aerial with the CZ and the smoke. So they have a very basic utility here, but enough to do a B hit. They could opt to throw the CT spawn smoke, and that Molotov could land in a plethora of different regions towards that side just to clear out one angle, so they don't have to hard clear anywhere or have to force anyone into a difficult spot. They have postured early. This is good. They should really milk the clock here because what's going to happen is OpTic are going to expend their utility. They're going to throw out the smokes to block the choke points. They're going to use their Molotovs. And then when we're down to about 30 seconds, that's when I think they should go for that hit.
A bit of a scrum going on here. X7's boosted up. Does find the shot from Z Connector with that scout, but Alexi B is going to be opening the round up in favor of ENCE, having the only AK on his side. He does find the frag onto Snappy. 13-6 is your score. If you're tuning in from work and you are not fortunate enough to watch the stream itself, right now ENCE do have OpTic right where they want them. It looks like it's going to be a B play here from the side of ENCE. Alu finding a frag on a Yugi. Cajun B chimes with one, goes for a second, can't seem to do it, and X7 is going to be shutting him down with the Deagle. And now the B site is all property of ENCE. It was too easy for ENCE as they stormed in here. Some might even say that Nico and Config might not be able to pull this one out, Chad.
Put a bow on it. This one's a wrap. I think the retake in this situation right here with the weaponry and utility provided is absolutely a mountain too tall to climb. And
they're only halfway up, though.
Yeah. They need a bit more speed.
And maybe a little bit more violence and momentum, as the only momentum now is Config saving in CT spawn and Nico there towards the Z connector. Let's talk a little bit about where this leaves OpTic on the backside of this round, because this does put a 14th on the board for ENCE, and then you've got to start to think about the rest of the game at that point, you know?
Cooked, on toast, finished, donezoed. I think it would have to be some maniac version of a comeback right now to get them anywhere near.
You really got to watch out, though. I mean, you can't just dock yourselves at that point.
Exactly. This is why ENCE need to keep the pressure on. They just stay in their face.
Yep. All the way down the barrel there,
Chad. Look at him. Just he had 25 in the first half. So in the second half, he's only had 4 kills. But Alexi, Sergey, X7 and Ariel all chiming in for the kills they need to make. It hasn't felt like too much hard or heavy lifting is needed to be done. Yugi's cooled off again after that resurgence he had on the first map. They're going to scrap together a buy. This is do or die for OpTic, and they're going to have to force buy out the rest of the game here. Their weaponry is not ideal, and damage automatically done onto Cajun B. Left absolutely slammed down to 15 points of health before he's even had a chance to get into a real duel.
Cajun definitely been a pivotal player here for this OpTic side and keeping any hopes and aspirations they have alive here in the semifinal. But currently almost to map point and even closer to match point will be ENCE sitting 14-6. Alu now boosted up with AWP, a man that's been on a tear, trying to get something going here. Can't seem to find a shot as it is because no one really revealed themselves there, at least Nico, the highway player. See some smokes and utility usage here from OpTic, trying to hold off this B hit as long as they possibly can. But for what it's worth, Chad, that might not be enough to stop this inside.
They do well in the scrap, right? So when this execute comes in, oh, that's a huge nade. But it's going to give away Yugi's position. X7, he was out for blood. He was playing very aggressively. Now he's smoked off. The Molotovs come in. It will be the B hit. Running all the way back to Drip. He's going to be getting burned away by the Molotovs. But Cajun again going to find a kill. And now the site should be all theirs. A Snappy with an unbroken vent was hoping to find one lurking unsuspectingly. And it's all falling apart for OpTic. The B stack, it was destroyed, dismantled, completely and utterly taken down.
And we talked about swarming with Glocks, but that alone was a position where they made first contact, they started to swarm the site, and there was absolutely nothing that OpTic was going to do once the pain train started to come into town. It was too easy for ENCE to take the B-bomb site, and now there's absolutely no way, and I mean no way, that Config can win this round.
100%. Is that what you'd say?
I would say it's more than 50, Chad.
Never go full Moses.
Never go full
Config here, he's going to get taken down, unfortunately. Sergey does not miss those. The peaks around the corner from Sergey that I've seen, this kid's reactions, only 16 years of age, have been absolutely sensational. He's just smashing everybody with these peaks. We saw it on Mirage. He had a couple of pivotal rounds there. He's not racking up massive frag tallies, but his kills always seem to have impact, and this is it. This is where the Deagles come out. The last hurrah from OpTic. The last chance for them to take any stand in this fight, as they will be going out in the semifinals if ENCE continue their path forward.
OpTic now standing on top of the wall. Started to change to more of a lime green than anything of a solid color, Chad. And all they have now is pistols. We're going to see the double push in mid there from Cajun B and Snappy. This could get real scrappy here real quick. Big trying to find some solace in shooting through the smoke and perhaps finding the pick, but that's not going to be what happens. In fact, he's going to catch one of those grenades right to the dome piece, and the A hit will be on any second once the smoke fades. OpTic will be entrenched. They will be ready for this, but this could be all she wrote. Could be ENCE storming in, waltzing in, blitzkrieging in, whatever have you, and finishing off OpTic, Chad.
Is it a quick flank? Is it 2 players boosted over towards middle? Yes, it is. 1 player on the boost and 1 player below it. And that means that the player on the boost might be able to find a kill, but they are aware that this is a possibility. Dropping all the way back going towards B, so that puts a lot of pressure on Yugi, who is the only man over towards that site. At some point, Cajun is going to have to play for information, and that Molotov will force him off. So the ticks of damage will be heard. The fact that they were close is a problem, and now they are going to make their way over towards the B bomb site.
Yes, now looking at ENCE, they're going to have to find their way into this B site. They're going to have to know that this vent is also vulnerability as they make this hit. Yugi planted in there in default, but taking a substantial amount of damage, 19 HP. In fact, trying to hold it off. He does find one. Config finding another. Now it's X7, Sergey, and Alu to try to keep this dream alive, ending it all here. Yugi, 19 HP in the site. Sergey's going to go ahead and take him out as well. 3v3, even numbers yet again. And it's pistols in the hand of Nico, Cajun B, and Snappy.
Oh, the bomb's dropped. It's going to the site. They got him in transition. Now it is a
time, though, Chad.
2-on-3 situation with 10 seconds left. Sergey has to plant. They can swarm him. The cover has to come in. One will go down, and Alu with the ult will find one, but they're able to push in. They're able to take him down. At this point, they just need to live. Alu can't do anything. He just needs to hold on to this AWP. He will get away, and that got scrappy as hell towards the end there.
That could have been all she wrote. That could have been the nail in what would have been the coffin of OpTic here at StarSeries, but that's just not how it all came apart at the end. And you got to kind of thank Yugi for keeping it alive there and staying alive as long as possible within that B site.
Yeah,
keeping the fight going and keeping this ENCE lineup on their toes. We're going to see a pause come out there on the side of ENCE. Alexi B is calling it. So let's talk about what they could hope to do here.
Yeah, this is where they need to just finish it now, right? That should have been the game. They had weapon advantage, utility advantage, everything. This is where the comebacks, you see them happen against a team like ENCE. This is where they start to fault up. They get a bit flustered. I really like this pause coming out. They have enough money in the bank to go for a proper buy. Talk through it. Everything you've been doing to this point has been right. Just don't get flustered in those final moments. Don't leave the clock to be your enemy. Make sure you have enough time to get that bomb down, because OpTic thrive under those conditions. That's where their players peak out, get those multi-kills. Their individualism really gets a chance to shine. And especially on a map where we did speak about hasn't been played by hardly any of these members in recent history. Most recent one was Nico. I believe he was playing for North at the time. And that was... Actually, no, it wouldn't have been for North. That was on the 14th of July this year. So some months have passed since then. As right now, we do see the default posture coming out once more for ENCE, seeing if... Oh, okay, there's a pick. Tried to boost up, tried to see if they could peer into Sunroom, but Sergey was ready for that. He tags down Cajun, and that is a huge number advantage to have. Power plays is something that ENCE are very fantastic at converting, so if they just play together in this 5v4 situation, should be able to trade out efficiently onto a bomb site and take this one with ease.
A big scalp there for them to take early on. Cajun B falling. Now it's going to give them that 4v5, but hold on a second here. Snappy putting a little bit of damage downrange. Ariel and Sergey both sitting very low. The timing was not there. Snappy finds the frag onto Ariel, and X7's going to get the trade. And just like that, it's starting to unravel yet again. Nico and Yugi, one kit between them, one Molotov, one flashbang. And they're going to have to do something real strange here, Chad. Real strange, because ENCE have begun to pour out this mid corridor.
Yeah.
Probably going to go for a B hit here. They don't have much in terms of map control on either side. So as long as they're able to barrel out perhaps onto this B site, it shouldn't pose too much of a problem with the proper trading. It's going to be a lonely Yugi. He had to have made that call. He did see them there in the back of B. He has to have said, hey, you know what, the hit's coming this way, and that's exactly what's going to be happening. They're going to be pouring out of the vents now. The Molotovs have gone down. The last grenades are being used. Yugi picks up yet another Molotov, but it's going to get taken down by Alu, who's been on an absolute tear this game. And it's going to be in the hands of Nico to keep the tournament life alive here for OpTic, but I'm going to have to say it's not looking pretty, as all the proper crossfires are set. Everything is in place, and the parameters are there, Chad. Nico waiting for the smoke to dissipate, trying to go through it. Anything he can do at this point will be a little bit, but not enough. And Sergey's going to end out the game with the frag on Nico. And just like that, ENCE are going to the Grand Final Series StarSeries Season 6.
That was just a matter of time until ENCE were able to close that one. That was such a commanding first half. Fantastic play from them. Got messy there in a couple of those rounds. We'll be able to go back and see, look, you know, these are the type of ones we just want to clean up, and we can take these games even more concisely. I was a little bit worried that they weren't going to be able to close that easily. That was the one thing I wanted them to do, but a 16-7 scoreline, very respectable, fantastic play. and they continue that form, they continue that discipline, they continue the teamwork that we know that these guys are built on, with the individual shining and a fantastic game from Alec.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, just on the backs of that first half, it was not necessarily a pretty affair there. We knew it wasn't going to be great for OpTic looking into this map, but, you know, for what it's worth, a 12-3 half is not where you want to start, no matter what.
No, and this is the fact that they floated it in the veto, right? They took the risk. They had to take the risk. They knew that their map pool was relatively weak. I'm going to be interested to know if ENCE, you know, if they were expecting that to happen. Because
how many easy for ENCEs do you think are going down in the chat right now, Chad?
Hopefully everybody's spamming it.
Everybody.
Everyone loves spam.
Just get away with it while you can, I suppose. We're going to be waiting for a little bit of an interview, but in the meantime, Chad, we do know now that ENCE move on to the grand finals.
Yes.
So perhaps, do you think they have the poise, the composure to even take the whole thing?
ENCE and NRG have looked like the best two teams throughout this entire tournament. I think the map pool-wise, that is the most interesting best of 5 we could be getting going down tomorrow. But we still got to get through the Vega and NRG game, which, you know, could be an absolute brawl considering how aggressively Vega like to play. And with Ethan and Breezy being the two players on the rifles who have been going ham, that means we're going to get a game which is going to be very back and forth. Lots of mid-round scenarios.
Yeah, I mean, at least for this ENCE lineup, you know, you've made it this far. You've made a statement here that perhaps your summer doings weren't just a one-off.
Yep.
This is exactly where you want to be if you're this young guns in terms of going forward. And OpTic, though, what can we say about them?
Look, I don't think they've underperformed. Obviously, their map pool's relatively weak. Nico's only joined the team for a very short period of time after that Gade swap with North. They just need to work, try and get Yugi online. I don't know what it's going to take. Snappy's in-game led him before when he had his breakouts. That's something that they need to look to amend, or at least try and get him online, because once you have Yugi online, once you have Config online, that's a dangerous team with a nice backbone of Nico being solid within the fragging department, Cajun B, a very experienced player, and Snappy has been in-game leading for just as long as anybody back in the 1.6 realms.
Yeah, and for what it's worth, these guys can't seem to find that necessary rhythm.
Yeah,
right?
no one stood out, right, for OpTic. There was no real star
Very
performer.
flat. But, I mean, at least on the inside, we had Alu. He just put on a clinic there on Cache. I want to make sure you heard me right.
So good. Who do you think we're going to interview?
From the inside, I'm going to have to guess probably, I don't know who, Chad, you got.
I think they're ready. So let's see who
Frankie's
been able to get over there on the tournament floor.
I'm here with Alexi B, and you made quick work of the OpTic boys. In fact, actually, OpTic looked pretty confident in that start of Mirage, but you managed to break down that green wall and chain 8 rounds straight on the second half. How exactly did you manage to make that comeback?
When we started Mirage, I think the communication was hectic. We knew exactly what they were going to do, but just failed to communicate the information to our teammates. And after that, the coach told us that this is the same exact thing that happened yesterday in Overpass. We were just too hectic, so he just told us to calm down and start the T side slowly and play from there, and it worked.
Apart from a few inches given here and there, Alexi B, on that second map on Cache, you clearly had an outstanding performance. Did you pick that map because you were confident on it, or because you knew OpTic weren't?
I think both. Before the game, we were they're going to ban Train because they are predicting that we won't pick Cache, and we have been good on Train, so we were we're just going to pick Cache and wreck them.
And I know that you were out for revenge after you got knocked out of the Face-It minor by these boys. How does it feel to have revenge and then some?
Really good.
Really good. Really good. Anything more? Anything more, Alexi? The infamous smile is coming out again. You must have really wanted it badly.
Yeah.
And in terms of the final, you're either going to be facing NRG or Vega Squadron. So what do you think of your potential opposition? I'm
pretty sure NRG will win it, but you can't count Vega off, so they can be pretty good. But I'm hoping for NRG because they're top 10 or something.
Do you think you can beat them?
Of course.
You're always so confident, Alexi B, and I absolutely love it. Thank you so much for talking to me, and we will see you in the final tomorrow. As for you guys in Twitch chat, don't forget, we always want to know what you're thinking. So let us know who you think is going to win the next matchup. It's Vega Squadron versus those boys from NRG. But for now, let's head back to the desk.
Ever to excel. Alu, the ex-OpTic player, put the hurt on him and made it look easy for ENCE, and that was a bit embarrassing once again here for OpTic. okay, yes, neither team played Cash. Okay, we didn't know what we were going to get going into it. But I spoke to Natu, and he said the last thing that was put in their little WhatsApp group with the team was, we can't wait to see Natu's facial expression when we play Cash. They were clearly ready for it. They clearly knew what was happening, and OpTic got made a mockery of.
Wasn't a good state of affairs. I mean, part of it obviously was, ENCE had some very good play. I mean, this is a map in theory you don't play, but they had a fantastic CT side. The ENCE guys, rather. But on the other side of the equation, OpTic clearly can't play Cash.
Yeah.
You can just go ahead and say that now, I think. Don't need to speculate on that anymore.
Yeah, OpTic literally had nothing, right? You could see that they just had config going towards B every round, trying to pick into the site. Even on that 5v3 early in the half where Aerial held down the A bomb site, I mean, it was just so lackluster, the entrance into the A site, no flashes or anything like that. And CT side, they were out of position everywhere, right? They were giving away free kills in middle. The B side, they were just literally in the middle of the open towards the B site, getting multi-fragged. So not OpTic's best showing. Obviously, it's not a map they play. They never expected to play it in this series. They just thought the map was going to get floated to the second ban stage like Duncan and I thought.
Yes.
But ENCE clearly has put in a little bit of work, and they were able to steal this map.
Being as this game was an absolute joke, do you want to hear an ENCE-related joke?
Go for it, Duncan.
So, if there was a third bomb site on this map, what position would Aerial play?
That's a good question. I don't know.
Under the sea. Straight fire reference there. For all the Disney fans out there.
Oh,
You can take that one home with you.
A little bit old school.
we're definitely showing our
That's it,
age
we're out
now
of
on
material
this.
now.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's
so,
it. We're done. But no, okay, we look at the OpTic lineup, right? It wasn't even like they had a chance to really frag against him. It was a very calculated and well put together ENCE lineup. They've made it to the grand finals. And okay, Alexi B doesn't seem to show much emotion. Okay, he wants to face NRG with it. They're sticking to what the Finnish do best. But this is just a kind of worrying sign for OpTic, because they were the ones who opted to not ban out this map to start off with. They would just go, oh, we'll ban Train because it's ENCE's best map. We'll leave it up to them. And now they paid the price for it.
Like, I don't think going forwards you're going to see ENCE continue to play Cash or flexing. I think this was a one-off thing specifically for the OpTic guys, because as we alluded to earlier on, in theory, both teams were going to float it, and then at that point in time, that's exactly what the OpTic guys are going to think, oh, well, they're definitely not going to pick it. So this was like a one-off tailored move. With that said, what a great sign for the guys from ENCE that it shows that they even could play that. And on top of it, they had pretty good composure the whole time. They had a comeback to begin with.
Yep.
They completely dominated on a map they don't play. Alu looks on fire. Generally, the team's doing very, very strong. Aerials come online. What's not to like, right? At this point in time, why can't they win the tournament?
Yeah, it's really telling, actually. They have the balls to pick Cash when someone floats it, right? So that means in the future, if they play a team that also bans Cash, there's no way that they're going to float the Cash ban in the future. So we knew Alu had the balls, don't we?
Absolutely, yes.
But now we know ENCE has the balls.
And we've seen all these balls by now as well.
We
And
have.
coming into this, right, when you're speaking to the ENCE lineup, one of the things they said was this team was built to play Counter-Strike correctly. Now, we're seeing it very tactical heavy. It's not just one player leading the charge the whole way. Okay, Alu had a phenomenal game this time. But even then, the rest of the team was still backed up by solid team play. So, to me, this is a very scary team, not just here, but just going forward if they keep to progress like this.
Yeah, they did. They did a really good job of harassing in mid on Cash, even though it's not a map that they play. CT side, you can tell that, OpTic wanted to do that fast mid take where they smoked Z, which kept missing, and Highway. And you can see ENCE had like molly towards boost, delayed nays towards boost. A main, they were jump spotting to make sure no one was creeping up. They did all the right things for even a map that they don't play. And obviously, they played very well on Mirage, stole OpTic's pick. So ENCE continuing to show, they can play a wide variety of maps.
Yeah.
Bodes well for them going in the finals.
And obviously, unfortunately, on the OpTic side of the equation, if you're the terrorist in-game leader, Snappy, it's not been a good day for you today. Not a whole lot of T rounds on the board. You're kind of in a position where you haven't looked that great generally individually. Rough one for him, I think, at this point in time. Even though generally you look at the overall tournament, yeah, positive signs until this match. Like much, much improved form. Interesting to see what Nico can bring to the team going forward. Seems like he's given them a little bit of an extra look, but this was more like the OpTic of the past few months with the other lineup.
No, I fully agree with that, and it just looks like, you'd say from the ENCE side, they were just a step ahead the whole way through. Now, one of the things that Twister, when he came to join ENCE and be the coach of the lineup, one of the things he wanted to do is kind of get this lineup drilled into being better in the hectic situations, playing a calmer CS. Obviously, we saw in the big game, they did flutter around and get kind of flustered by the whole situation. None of this even started to happen or even come to a point where they had to get close to it going here. So I guess in ENCE's style is they are really prized to have a good potential to win this going up against either NRG or Vega.
Well, I think the key thing for me is, like, the Vega one will be very unusual because no one really knows what's going to happen when you play Vega, especially it's a best of 5, remember, in the final. So I think actually Vega would be a natural disadvantage regardless of who they'd been playing. The NRG ones are quite interesting in itself, though, because obviously these aren't two teams that are playing very often. And if you're the guys from NRG, you want to go and watch those demos, you want to get, like, your homework done, really figure out what you're going to do. But are you really going to be able to use past demos and figure out what this ENCE is doing? Like, I feel like this tournament, they've been at a much better level than when I saw them at the minor and I saw them at some of the smaller tournaments.
Yeah.
They only really had the breakout tournament, which was Cologne. And then since then, it was a quiet period. We didn't hear that much, you know. Obviously, people might remember during the major, they were in the final of that DreamHack Montreal tournament. They didn't even win that. So it's been a very up and down ride for the team. And so this maybe is the culmination of all that hard work.
And I'd say one of the biggest criticisms on ENCE coming into this was a lot of their opposition was like the tier 2, tier 3, where they're playing a lot of online opponents. Obviously, Barclone, what you mentioned. But now they are starting to prove it against the bigger teams, right?
Yeah.
So this is a time for them to step up if they can take down an NRG after this or a Vega. Obviously, with a Vega one being a little bit less likely potentially to happen, this could solidify them as having a really good end to the year.
It can, and like I said, they've shown they can actually withstand a full best of 5, which honestly, I don't know if any of the 3 teams left have probably played a full best of 5 on LAN. Like, I can't imagine a scenario where ENCE, NRG, or Vega were playing a full best of 5 on LAN.
Because the DreamHacks aren't
Maybe
best
the
of 5.
IM Shanghai final might have been for NRG.
Usually those are best of 3s. I'm not sure if it was a best of 5.
The qualifiers were best of 5,
yeah,
so I
it could
guess
be
in the
right.
grand final might have been best of 5
Could
as
have
well.
been, yeah.
Okay.
So that would have been like the only probably best of 5 that any of these teams have played. And usually when you play them online, you get a map advantage if they're in the finals. So I think ENCE is definitely a very strong contender now to win the finals after seeing them win on all of these different maps throughout this tournament. It's very hard to veto against them.
You flip-flopped at the right time as well, Sean.
I did. I went right back.
Went back and it worked out for you.
Oh.
Now, just to fill a little bit of the end of this time off, going into this Vega NRG matchup, what are we thinking? Because obviously most people go straight away, oh yeah, NRG, but Vega got it done yesterday and they're clearly showing they can at least play games out a little bit better than we expected when it get into a best of 3 situation.
Like, for me, what I like about this matchup is it's a really good stylistic matchup because, you know, the Vega squadron, first of all, actually have shown a pretty good team performance. It hasn't just been one guy. In the past, more recently, Chopper. Like, a bunch of the players had very, very good games.
Yeah.
Then you've got to add, they like that very aggressive style. They like to buy a lot. You look on the NRG side, this is a team that needs full economy. They need to get all the gun rounds going. They're not the team that's going to be whipping out the CZ and going with really crazy close-range action. So I feel like contrasting styles make for really interesting matches. Sure, if it goes the wrong way, you can just get an absolute bloodbath. It can be a really crazy match wide open. So for me, it's a good test for the NRG guys. Like, they've already been to many semi-final, final stages, sometimes done well, sometimes underwhelmed, but they're a big favorite for this one. So you would hope they come in, they play at peak level, and if Vega Squadron can take it from them when they're at peak level, then they deserve to be in the final.
Fair praise, fair praise. And well, I also, for NRG's sakes, you best hope there's a bit of crowd support on them this time, because after making awkward tweets,
He doesn't
they can
realise
honestly.
that every single fan in Europe of NRG came to watch them in the game. How's he going to diss them like that?
It was packed full of NRG fans.
You're going to see this like one side of the arena just going to be all Vega, and then on the other side just be no one sat there for NRG apart from some fans maybe slinging some abuse their way after those comments. But we only have one more game left for today. ENCE made the first one a quick one. It's Vega and NRG going to be coming up next. And that is going to be all from us here. That's going to be all of us for now. Duncan, you'll be on the desk for the next segments as well, won't you? You'll be enjoying talking through
technically that time is in 2 minutes, so... Right, welcome
Oh,
to the next
we're
segment. We're back.
I'm not going anywhere then.
Oh, why have they shown that on the screen?
Ah, okay. It was CES time, not local. That's what we said.
Right, okay.
There we go.
1 hour from now then.
Yes. There you go. Get a little hour break, get some rest, get yourself some more sushi.
Get that sushi in.
Duncan's favourite. He's been enjoying that.
Well, we'll see
Ariel.
if NRG's ready to eat some of that raw fish. little bit of soy sauce.
Dip it in there.
Yeah, a little bit of wasabi
Wasabi.
for the spice.
I like it. Sean, you want to make a prediction on this one before we go?
I think you have to predict NRG, right, with the map pool they have versus Vega. We've only seen them play Fracture so far in a best of 3.
Yep.
We know that they have a pretty weak map pool, so I would lean towards NRG.
Okay, well that is us done and finished. Thank you very much, guys. We're going to go to a break. The next game is going to be in just under an hour now, so don't go anywhere, because it will be NRG going up against Vega Squadron. See if the Vega Squadron can do anything big here, on home soil with the crowd behind them as well, and maybe NRG will regret their decision making on
Things
Twitter.
will be better down where it's wet. Why would you put the camera on me there? It's obviously supposed to be... these production people don't know what they're doing. Absolute rank amateurs. Disgraceful.
Loot Bet. With Hellcase multi-cases, you're no longer restricted by random case opening mechanisms. Now, you are able to pick any of the cells containing skins and actually determine what you win. Use the promo code and dive right in.